here standing in for Brittany Vincent to tell you about World of Warcraft: Mists of Pandaria. World of Warcraft is an online pioneer in many ways, though 8 years after its release, some of its mechanics seem quaint and dated. The latest expansion, Mists of Pandaria, acts as a sentimental renaissance for longtime players, as well as a launching pad for newcomers on the fence about committing to the monthly fee. It's simultaneously alien and familiar, with brand new content to explore that channels the freewheeling fun World of Warcraft has always provided. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it gets the ball rolling again. The continent of Pandaria brings a different dynamic to the sameness permeating the spectrum of high fantasy online games. The distinct Asian flavor of the sprawling landmarks and sweeping mountain ranges get those exploration urges gnawing at you once more. Whether you're traversing the breathtaking Kunlai summit or trudging through the lush Jade Forest, Pandaria reignites the spark for adventure. But as aesthetically pleasing as Pandaria is, the fresh coat of paint doesn't single-handedly revitalize the entire experience. It sorely needed the aid of the additional playable Pandaren race and the monk class to refresh standard conventions. These additions haven't affected classic questing, which usually involves killing X amount of creatures to collect Y amount of loot. Nevertheless, questing in World of Warcraft has never felt so immersive, with assignments ranging from the frivolous to the stoic. There's a sense of fitting into the goings-on unfolding around you. There's the feeling that you're contributing to the machinations of how the land grows and evolves. Unfortunately, Pandaria's high points are limited from a social perspective due to phasing and linearity. Pandaria still supports group questing, of course, but most of the quests here feel more appropriate for a single-player session and do little to bring players together. That's not to say there isn't any room for enjoyment with friends, just that the focus has been shifted to solo questing and plot advancement. Tactical scenarios requiring 3 players offset this focus a bit, having a group thrust into different sequences. If you want to ramp up the intensity, you can tackle the more formidable 5-player dungeons. They'll go by quickly if you're up for the challenge, but recall the more enjoyable Wrath of the Lich King's boss battles. After exhausting these, there are the more difficult challenge mode dungeons, which offer rewards in the form of cosmetic gear, achievements, and so on. Past the gorgeous setting and social play are the Pandaren themselves, which can join up with either the Alliance or the Horde factions. The beer-loving creatures have embarrassingly frivolous conversations about their favorite brews, and tell emotionally affecting tales of rising tensions between Horde and Alliance combatants. The Monk class offers surprisingly deep physical combat options that opt for the inner strength of oneself and hand-to-hand combat rather than weapons. It's a versatile class that's actually loads of fun to play, whatever combat role you choose. There's also a pet battle system, which feels a little too familiar, having borrowed much by the way of Pokemon and other similar monster-raising systems. In fact, much of the new content relies on reparations to pre-existing mechanics we've seen before. But Mists of Pandaria's new race, a playable class, story-rich questing, and menagerie of things to do ensure that Mists of Pandaria is another quality World of Warcraft expansion.
For my kind, the true question is, what is worth fighting for?